Is this thing on? Hello, I'm Christian. I'm a sophomore at the University of Arizona, and I'm the host of this podcast, Cat Chat. I'm joined today by Riley Silos and Elek Miller, who I met as a freshman in the Honors Village last year. Both are really skilled archers competing at the national levels, and Riley also has a singing career on the side. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and follow Cat Chat on any social media platform at CatChatUA. Thanks, and I hope you enjoy our conversation. Yeah, so let's just get started. I want to start by just talking about how I met you guys. Well, more met Riley because I already kind of knew Elek from English, but I want to talk about the ding dong serenade you guys
The
did.
sing dong ditching.
Yeah, I'll throw up the video. Christian, whoa, Christian, Christian. How'd you come up with the idea to just knock on people's doors and sing?
Okay, well here's what happened. So me and Elek were getting really bored with the just the repetitious training. Is that fair enough, Elek? We're just getting really bored.
Right.
So we had to find something to keep things exciting. So at first we were just straight up ding dong ditching, no creativity, just ding dong ditching the RAs, and no one would come out. For some reason, no one cared. So then people are coming out. So then I'm like, what if we sing and get the funniest reactions? So that's how that started. We're just trolling.
I love that. If you ever come back to Tucson, please do that again. So I know you guys are both archers.
Yeah, for sure.
You guys post about it on Instagram a lot. How did you get started with archery?
So I played 10 years of hockey, very competitive hockey, and there was one season where I just wasn't feeling it. I was getting burned out. I wasn't happy with how the season was going, so I had to find something that took my mind off hockey. And there was a local pro shop, and I just saw Robin Hood, the cartoon with the fox, and
Right.
archery seemed like a really cool thing to do. So I picked it up just like that. And it had just, when I got there, I was like, this is pretty cool. I'm kind of good at this. And the U.S. national coach happened to be there at a certain point. And he's still my coach today, Coach Renee. And he told me that we can become good if we work together. So we worked together for a couple months, and I ended up winning nationals the first tournament I went to. And then hockey was the focus. So then I stopped archery again. And then I came back 4 years later to the same national tournament. Then I won it again. And that's only a couple months of training. It just takes so much time. Just 2 years ago, I decided, maybe this is something I should actually pursue seriously, not just on the side. So that's me. It was mostly from the movies, just Robin Hood. It just seemed like a fun thing to do.
That's funny. Yeah. Robin Hood was definitely cool. Hawkeye too, from the Avengers.
Hawkeye's cringy though.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
Did you ever read the comics though? The comics by Matt Fraction are pretty good.
The comics are different, but it's just when you see Hawkeye shooting, it's just
Is it wrong in form?
It's
in the movies?
you ask Elek, bro.
Bro, it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's just bad.
Yeah.
Only we would notice it. To everyone else, it's okay. We're just snobs.
That's funny. Yeah. All right. How about you, Elek? How'd you get started?
So so similar sports background. So I played baseball actually my whole life, and it was I think in 2011 that I first tried archery in a summer camp, and I got pretty good at it. I mean, we were just shooting it 10 yards with some pretty basic bows, but the camp counselor was saying wow, you're shooting pretty good. And it was pretty fun, but it wasn't until about 3 years later that I got my first bow. So it was in 2014 that I decided to use a gift card that I got for my birthday at Dick's Sporting Goods, and I got just a basic $50 bow. And my dad worked right next to an archery range, and I started shooting there. and just became addicted to it and was shooting basically every day. My scores started to go up, and then I eventually got a higher level bow, and then I got the highest level compound bow. And I started just with all the practice, I eventually started shooting near perfect scores, and then I shot my first perfect 300, started shooting more tournaments, outdoor tournaments, and and then in 2018 I won my first team national championship outdoor at Outdoor Nationals, and I'm still trying to work my way up to the U.S. archery team, which it's a very difficult thing to do because there's so many good shooters in the U.S., but
Oh yeah.
that's my goal eventually, to make that team. Yeah.
Mhm. How does the U.S. rank, like, among other countries?
Oh, it's one of the highest,
Yeah.
especially for like Elek and I's level. Like, just take the top 15. There, any day, anyone can win.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for archery, usually there's only one spot, sometimes three. But in compound and in archery, it's usually just one. You'll get lucky if there's alternatives. So any one of those 15 can win the World Cup, 100%. Any one of them. So when Alex says like making the team, Elek could probably, do just fine in the World Cup, but making the U.S. team is I think is harder than
The hardest part.
What do you think, Elek?
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely the hardest part because I'm capable of shooting scores that can beat like the number one in the world any day, in practice or competition. Like I'll shoot those scores. It's just to do it on that day, like in competition and do it consistently throughout the year is where it's difficult because there's so few spots to make that team. And that's the one frustrating part about archery is it's really just a coin toss of whether you're going to make that team or not.
Really? So, like, what is it exactly that, like, sets, like, I guess, like, a U.S. team archer from, like, anyone else? Is it, like, being able to control your nerves?
Like the U.S., like the World Cup U.S. archer from the rest of the world, you're saying?
Yeah, like, just from, like, anyone else who could contend with them.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of archers around the world that are just as good, if not better, as archers from the U.S. The thing about the U.S. is it's just there's so many compound archers that are just shooting at that high level that to make that U.S. team, you have to be almost lucky with shooting hot scores just in 1 year. And if you shoot hot scores that year, you might be able to get on the team. For example, like there's a couple guys, like one of the guys named Brio Wild that has been on the World Cup team for I'd say 15 straight years, and then now there's all these young guys up and coming that are just out shooting him. So he wasn't on the team last year because of that, even though he's practically the greatest compound archer of all time. So yeah, you just have to be able to have that right hot streak at that point, and then you might make the team.
It's tough because it's the same for recurve too. Like archery specifically, any sport to the world class levels difficult, but archery specifically, there's so many aspects. It's ridiculous. Like it's so technical. There's technique, there's mental game, there's equipment. No other sport has. Maybe golf, but even golf, like it's not as because you're aiming for something that's this big at 70 meters away or 50 meters for compound, and you got to sink that shot every time. And you can do it all day in practice, but when it's so difficult, and there's just so. But
Gotcha. So, like, it sounds like you really have to have it, like, down to a T. You gotta, like, control everything as much as possible. But like Elek mentioned, it kind of just sounds like at the end of the day, once you really get to that high level, it's kind of like dependent on luck and getting on a hot streak.
Yeah, I would say
it's consistency. It's whoever puts the most arrows in the middle. I mean, it's a very simple sport in that. That's why it's nice. It's not like, figure skating where some of it's biased. It's literally whoever shoots the most bullseyes. It's just about consistency.
Gotcha.
Anyone can win, but it's just whoever makes the less or the fewest mistakes. I don't know what to say. And that's why the U.S. is hard, because there's so many people. You just can't make any mistakes, especially for the compound level. Like Vegas shoot 18 meters. You have to shoot. They're not even counting perfect scores sometimes. Like they're counting like X, and it's becoming the same with recurve too. So it's tough.
So yeah, you mentioned recurve bow. Elek mentioned compound bow. Why don't you guys explain the difference? Because like I know I'm not, and I'm sure a lot of people aren't familiar with the different kind of bows.
You're first, man.
Yeah, Elek, why don't you go? Riley, do you want to go first?
No, like you can go.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'd say compound is, in terms of the actual game, like the actual sport, it's definitely much more like your errors are going to reflect your performance more. But to describe the equipment, for those that don't know, it's essentially the bow that has that like has those pulley looking things called cams, and it has
like the wheels.
But yeah, and it has the string, and it has two different strings, the string that you pull on, and it has like a type of cable in the middle that essentially you can adjust to fine tune your bow. And it's you're going to shoot it not with your fingers. So you don't shoot a compound with your fingers. You shoot it with a device called a release, where you're essentially holding it like this. With a recurve, you're going to hold like this, but with a compound, you hold like this with a release, and you're going to set it off using your scapular muscles. So you're going to set it off. Basically, you want it to be a surprise shot. And as far as it goes with compound, like I said, you essentially need to be perfect or near perfect in order to win. Most matches are decided by 1 point, and it's usually a perfect score to 1 point down. That is the deciding factor. Because we all know, like with great compound shooters can shoot perfect scores any practice session, essentially. It's being able to shoot perfect scores I'd like every tournament. That's the hard part, and it kind of gets exhausting at a certain point. But that's I'd say the biggest thing about compound. It's all in your head.
One more thing. So compound's difficult. The biggest difference, if you don't know, Christian, recurve is the one you see in the Olympics, and compound is mostly World Cup circuits. So compounders actually get more money than recurvers.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then what's the difference between recurve? Is that like the type of bow you usually see in like
recurve is the one. It's in I don't know if you can see that in the car. I'll show you later. But it's basically just a normal bow you'd see in any movie. It's just a limb riser without the cam. So if you don't know what the cam is, basically a compounder will shoot, let's say, like 60 pounds. At a certain point, there's a let off. So what that means is when you get past that certain draw with the compound, it lets off to, let's say, 30 pounds. Recurve, if you're pulling 48 pounds, 49, it's the same poundage the whole shot because there's no cams. It's just a basic, it's literally called a recurve because the limb curves this way. So that's the biggest difference. One is mechanical and one is not mechanical. And the difference in scores, though, generally the compound scores are like the matches are perfect scores, like 159 to 160. In recurve, there's a little more leeway there.
149, 150.
Sorry, 149, 150. My bad. Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, like don't get me wrong, the recurves are still extremely high tech. Like it's not just a piece of wood and a string. Like
it's aluminum and bamboo limbs, but just take anyone, they won't even be able to pull the bow. So
yeah. Right.
Dang, yeah. And yeah, Elek, you mentioned that you have you had a background in baseball, so you must have already had some of that like necessary arm strength in place to shoot the bow. Like what do you do to like keep up that arm strength? Like how much does someone need to work out their arms in order to like efficiently, do
No
that,
arms.
compete with archery?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd say if for me, what I mean, I got started getting that arm strength worked up with just like basic, 15 to 20 pound dumbbells at home. I'd say in my junior year of high school, I kind of got that going, and did just some basic shoulder work and bicep work each night. And that built a really good foundation. Now, what's just keeping me strong overall for archery across, in both the bow arm and my draw arm, and I'd say keeping good core strength is just powerlifting training for strength. Like whole body training is working good, and it's keeping that overall strength in the whole body that's required to shoot well.
Yeah, I see you post like, your self weightlifting. Some of like, I guess the world record holders for what is it? What's the Yeah. Are you trying to go for some record, man? I see you with like I saw you with a group once at the North Rec, and they're all like huddled around watching you do it.
Yeah, well, I'd say, I mean, I'm probably not gonna be to that point where I'm gonna go for any records, because in order to do that, you have to dedicate your life to powerlifting. Right. But I'd say, I think eventually I could get to a point where I could do well and maybe pull like deadlift around the 500-pound mark at around 180 pounds body weight, which is going to be close to a 4-time or a 3-time body weight deadlift. So I think I could make a name for myself while staying off drugs. But yeah, going for records is out of my league. I'm never gonna pull 500 kilograms, which is the world record.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Real quick, what's your preference, North Rec or Main Rec?
I'd say North Rec. Even though, I mean, South Rec, I haven't fully checked it out enough to see all the equipment that they have. Like now that I've kind of gotten deeper into powerlifting training, I know that there's all kinds of accessories that are good to use, like bands and chains and boxes for squatting. So if South Rec has those, then I might go to South Rec more often, but I like the layout of North Rec better.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Riley, I want to talk about your singing. I want to talk about your singing career a little bit. Yeah.
All right.
So I went on your YouTube channel, and
the
earliest song you have posted, I think it's called Flying.
Flying, yeah.
It got 223,000 views.
That's right. That was my what's up?
Is that your first song?
Yeah, that was the first one we it's funny because that's actually not the most streams we've had. I've had almost 1 million because we got used for a movie at one point. We're being used for like the weirdest Facebook ads. Sometimes they just show up. But yeah, I mean, it's a work in progress. I'm just working on the craft. I've been writing about 2 to 5 songs a day. I'm trying to release a song every 2 weeks now consistently. So.
That's great. What movie was it, real quick?
I don't know what it was called. It was some Vietnamese movie, but it was pretty popular apparently. But I could get back to you on that. But
that's really cool.
Yeah, like if you go in the Flying comment section, most of it is just Vietnamese people. Like, this is from the movie. I don't know what it's called.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you consider yourself like a singer-songwriter? Like, what genre is your music?
Yeah, I was because I've been singing forever. It's a Filipino thing, honestly. Every party is just karaoke. I was in a stage for the longest time where I would just, post covers all the time. Michael Jackson, my influencers, Freddie Mercury is the god. I listen to a lot of old stuff, El DeBarge, Chicago, Journey. So I was just mostly posting covers, but like last year or just the beginning of this year, I mean, I kind of realized like, I do have to make the career out of this eventually. So I'd prefer to be more of a songwriter than a singer. So no more cover songs, basically what I'm saying. Mostly original stuff. Gotcha. So, I mean, I'm still learning. Out of 10 songs, probably one of them will be okay. The rest will just suck. I mean, they suck. I mean, what can I say?
Hmm.
So,
Hey, I mean,
so
I like them when I listen to them. But the
that's
production
fun.
the production on some of the videos are like really good. I was wondering, like,
How big do you think our crew is? What do you think?
I don't know,
Our
like
film crew.
if I mean, with technology nowadays, like I'm sure like with a couple of drones you could do it good, but I don't know, maybe 15 people?
Literally, that's what everyone says. It's just me, who edits, storyboards it. My dad helps me film because he's a good cinematographer, and that's it.
That's
Me, my
amazing,
dad,
man.
and actress, or maybe a makeup person, like my cousin,
Uh-huh.
or I'll just get a friend of mine to hold the boom mic. But that's it. It's literally just a team of like 3 or 4.
That's really
But
cool.
we get it done though. We film it the same day. I edit it the same day. We post it the next day. So
Mhm.
there you go.
Yeah, dang. Your family must be really creative. Like I saw a post that was like your Christmas
Oh yeah, they're all
video.
singers. They're all
Like,
singers. Oh, you saw our Christmas?
yeah, you had there's a crazy like Christmas card video where you're all singing and it's like really professional. I'm like,
Yeah, we have that Christmas card
what?
every year on
I don't even
video.
put out a Christmas card. Like my family, you know, that's crazy. Yeah. So in your videos, like sometimes you have like a girl there, you have like different actresses. Like, do you know these girls at all? Or
Elek. Yeah. So most of the time, I get my actors or actresses on LA Casting. LA
okay.
Casting is a great way. Like I just post, hey, this is the song. We need an actress. So and then I get like at least 100 people the next day applying for that role.
Oh wow.
So if I need it fast, I'll just go on LA Casting. It's kind of like an Uber for actresses. But I try to keep it girls I know, my friends, just
Gotcha.
people who are easy to work with. So
Yeah, yeah. And like some of your songs, I guess they have like a love song feel. I know not all of them are like that, but
yeah.
are you like writing about anybody or is it just like
Oh
in
yeah.
general?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
Alec knows all about this stuff. I like to think my genre is more has some R&B jazz elements. If you dissect my chords, even if it's a pop song, there's a lot of jazz stuff.
Hmm.
So that's probably just my influencers. Like I said, I know Queen isn't jazz, but Queen actually has a lot of structure. Oh yeah, they're all written about someone. I'm not gonna say
Just
because
one person?
no, it.
Tell the truth.
Mm, yeah, no. Sometimes there are a couple songs about one person, a couple songs about another person. I mean, you never
Okay.
reveal who they're about.
Yeah.
That's
Number
cool.
one
You can
rule in
keep it on the
songwriting.
down low. That's fine.
Yeah.
Um, so your latest song, Infinity, it was co-written with, or I think it was a girl named Sloane, as a friend, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Sloan's actually a dude, but he's a great actor.
Oh shit. Well, I'm
He's
gonna
on
edit that out.
Nah, you should keep that. That's funny. Um, yeah, he helped me with the lyrics. He had one line. He goes, hey, I want to make a song with you. I'm like, okay, great, let's make it. So we made a couple songs before Infinity. And one day he came in the studio. He goes, I have one line. He goes, Infinity. That's all he had, just one line. For some reason, right out of the way, I just heard the rest of the song in like a couple seconds. It took like 2 minutes to write.
Wow.
It just came so fast. So he helped me with the lyrics. And yeah, it went pretty quick. It was cool. It was like a 1 day thing.
That's cool. Well, I bring it up because all of your songs before that, I think, are written with this guy named Mark Spiro, I believe.
Yeah,
I
Mark
was wondering,
Spiro. Yeah.
like, what's your
Yeah.
relationship? Is he like a
Mark is
producer?
a Mark is a genius. He just turned like 50 something. He's a goat. He wrote the soundtrack for Top Gun. I don't know if you've seen Top Gun.
Oh, wow.
Um he was even involved with I think like I don't know, just go look it up. He sold I have the let's see. Mark Spiro. I actually wrote this down because it's pretty impressive. He has sold 100 million records sold worldwide. He's worked with just a bunch of people. There's just too many people to name, but yeah, 100 million records. I mean, he's a musical genius, and he's a really good friend of mine. He's my mentor. I look up to him.
Mm-hmm.
He's so much better than a lot of the musicians nowadays, honestly. Just a lot of poser music. But this guy's legit. I have a picture of him right here. He just came out with a new album, Plug from Mark Spyro. But there he is.
Oh, cool. How'd you get working with him?
He used to work for my dad's company, and I told him that I wanted to be a songwriter, and he kind of looked at me like it's kind of a stupid career to have. So and then I just started to work with him. It was my birthday present. I said, hey, I have this much budget for songwriting. Will you work with me? And it just happened like that. He's really a genius. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's really cool to watch. I mean, at any moment he can just write a hit song. So there you
That's
go.
great. That's really cool. You're lucky to have someone like that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's good.
All right. So you can tell that I was like looking at your videos. I don't want it to seem weird, but so like on the description of Let the Wind Decide, you typed stay tuned for a full send, which I'm guessing is like a reference to like an album or an EP coming out soon.
Yeah. I have an album coming. It's called Infinity Between Shots, and the concept behind that is in between shots, meaning like archery. So in between archery practice, I just write these songs. Feels like time. I enjoy my time with music. Yeah. We are holding off on releasing songs like 10 at a time, because if I release 10 songs like next week, then what am I going to do for the next like couple months, and then I'm out of.
Right.
So I'm spacing it out every 2 weeks. And we're also holding off on Spotify because we're looking in these TV shows like Songland, which is on NBC. I don't know if you've heard of Songland.
Yeah,
before.
I watched that.
Yeah. Basically, the concept is you send 2 songs, and the winner gets the coach singer or whatever sings it as their next single. And you can't do that if you release the song. So like Infinity, if I put it on Spotify, that I can't get picked up by a label. I can't go to Songland. Like there's so many.
Right.
So it's kind of you have to play it smart, because if I release Infinity on Spotify and let's say I get like 100,000 streams, let's say, that could have been like millions if I would have just waited like a couple months until someone like John Legend decides to sing the song. Like that'd be so sick.
That would be really cool.
Because people are bandwagons. They only like listening to stuff that are popular. Just take my Instagram, for example. Flying has 200,000. And for some reason, everyone's saying, oh, my favorite song is Flying. It's like, well, if Infinity had 100,000 or 200,000, they'd be saying same thing about that. Like, that's just how it is. I mean, it's human nature. Like, dude, people like what's popular. So
if you went on Songland, I'd brag about that so hard. I'd be like, I know that guy. He's on my podcast.
Well, we're looking into it. So
that'd be so cool, man. Hello, guys. So unfortunately, during this part of the interview, my internet connection cut out, and so I had to rejoin the Zoom meeting, and I forgot to hit record again. So I lost like the last 5-10 minutes of the interview, but you guys listened to most of it. And so that's all for this episode. Keep an eye out for the next one featuring Marianne Hassan, ASUA Administrative Vice President. We talk about her thoughts on reentry, some ASUA stuff, and the meeting she had through COBA with UA administration. So keep an eye out for that, and see you around. Bear down.